Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and to our guest here, thank you for being here today and enduring these many questions. We're reading in the press today that the U.S. is readying another $200 billion of sanctions. It's seeming very predictable, right? They're calling this a trade war. And I guess my question for you today, I'm going to leave this hearing, and the press in Utah is going to ask me a very predictable question, which is, where does this end? And if you could please tell me that, I'd be happy to report that to the press.
Well, I can tell you where it's going to have to end one way or another. How long it takes us to get there is a different story. The president is committed to reducing the trade deficit with China. We had a quote from Congressman Sherman saying it rose last year, which it did. Now, I'm not going to defend the president's view of the trade deficit. I'm simply saying he's had this position for a long time. He's been very clear about it. He's not been inconsistent. So we have a situation right now where our trade deficit with China was rising. You can make an argument our economy is growing faster than theirs, even though they don't report that. We're richer than them. It's going to take some work to get the trade deficit under control, which means we may get a series of 10% tariffs applied to all Chinese goods for a while. But that's where it's going to end. It's going to end, because that's the president's goal, with the U.S. bilateral trade deficit with China at least stabilizing.
You want to know where it's going to end? I have to say, this reminds me of two 8-year-olds having a staring contest, waiting to see who's going to blink first. And the president has only one tactic, which is escalate, up the ante. He has allowed time with the 200. He's allowed time for more negotiations. There may be some, there may not be. If you go back to my statement, I'm skeptical for reasons I indicated that will accomplish much, but there's a possibility there. I think if they don't accomplish anything, he'll move to round 2 and impose those tariffs. The Chinese have been very clear that they'll respond in like amount, in kind. It's already more trade than we have with them, but they'll do other things. Read today's clips, you'll see a lot of speculation about what those other things might be. And then he will probably respond with a third tranche. And I'm very gloomy. Where this goes is, in the end, all trade is subject to punishing tariffs. And there's going to be a lot of collateral damage on both sides.
So I feel that that's true. And the worry in Utah is the path is littered with dead companies right along the way that Mr. Scissors, Dr. Scissors, you referred to the unpredictability. And that's hit Utah in a really hard way, is assuming that these tariffs are coming in already. How do you place orders? How do you plan for the future and all of those things? I'm curious to know if any of you are aware of a different ending that still gets us the same results using different tools. So is the only tool available to us to fix this imbalance a tariff, or are there other tools that we could be using?
So we had an op-ed, and I believe in The Hill or Politico recently, 10 non-tariff alternatives the Trump administration could use as weapons or tools or tactics. There are a number of them we could use, and I've talked about some of them, others have talked here. What I find striking with what the Trump administration is they are pretty much using only one tool. They have a WTO case, but they're pretty much using only one tool. I would disagree a little bit with maybe Bill, and said I don't think the Chinese are as fundamentally committed to this as I don't think forcing them to stop intellectual property theft or forced tech transfer or massive subsidies are a threat to the party. I think there is more leeway that the Chinese could give without giving up party control of China, or even giving up the goal of growing their tech economy. So I could see one outcome of this is the Chinese essentially decide they don't want to have that much pain and make some modest concessions. I don't think we can rule that out. I don't know what the odds of it are. I don't know that anybody knows that, but that's one outcome.
Do modest concessions get us to where we need to go, or do we look at it more dramatic? Dr. Scissors, you're...
I think Rob's being realistic, but I don't think modest concessions get us where we need to go. And this is one of the reasons why I think there's going to be pain. And when I was in the White House meeting that kicked off the 301 tariffs that led to this point, I said, if you're not willing to stick to this for 3 years and suffer some pain, don't bother, because that's what it's going to take to get the Chinese to change. I don't think tariffs are the best weapon. I don't think they're the only weapon. But I do think that if you don't have tariffs in your pocket and you aren't willing to use them, you get less attention from China and it takes longer. So, do I think we should only be using tariffs? No. Do I wish we were using something else first? Yes, but I don't think we're going to be able to get to where we want to go without tariffs and without pain.
Unfortunately, I'm out of time, Mr. Chairman. I yield.